All right, let's see what's going on. It's Sunday. What's happening, family? You know what it is. It's Sunday. It's time for Maarifa. Is it on? Is it popping? Oh, wait. Okay. I gotta mute that. I gotta mute that. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I think we ready. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me get my timer right. Gotta have my clock. Let me see. Is it popping? Wait. Refresh. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let me get my timer, family. Let me get my timer. All right, what's happening, family? It's your man Maarifa back again, coming at you with a new lesson today. It's Sunday, so you know that means Maarifa time. It's time to elevate your mind, to teach, and to learn some new lessons and some new things to grow to your higher self. Okay, so today's topic and today's lesson is on African spirituality. We're going to know thyself. We're going to get to know a higher consciousness of ourselves and understand what African spirituality is and what these guys, our ancient African ancestors, understood it to be and what they understood creation and the universe was and all that good stuff. But real quick, admin notes. You did give us Maarifa. Go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the little bell, you know what I'm saying, on YouTube. Check out my page right here. Give us Maarifa on YouTube and Facebook. You know, we live right now, so I want to interact with the people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all show me some love. You know, let me know y'all here. You know, interact with me. Give me that energy. Give me them vibes. You know what I'm saying? Leave comments, questions, and stuff like that. I'll answer some questions after the live stream and get some of that stuff out the way. All right, so hit like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? If you like what you're hearing, you know, hit the little heart button. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like what you're hearing, hit the angry face. Whatever. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? As long as you bring some energy. You dig? All right, so let's move on. Let's get it started. So what I want to do is get into this discussion about African spirituality. Okay? So before, let me start my timer so I won't get off on a tangent. Before Judaism, Christianity, or Islam, there was African spirituality. Okay, so the three major religions of today, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, which dominate the world today, before all of that ever existed or was ever created, there was African spirituality. And what we as a people, as African people, understood spirituality to be. Okay, it's the reason why, you know, when they created the Bible and they created the Quran, they created, you know, the Greeks, the Romans, and the English, the British created the Bible and all of that stuff like that. They copied from African spirituality and they copied the concepts and ideas of African spirituality and they put them in parables inside of those books that you have today. The Bible and the Quran, they put them in parables and they didn't really teach you what African spirituality is or what it was. Okay, so they stripped us away when they brought Africans into slavery. They stripped us away from our understanding of African spirituality and didn't give it to our babies. You know, so the original first set of Africans which they enslaved, they took away their names, took away their religion, they took away their God, they took away their speech, their language, they took away everything and replaced it with their westernized religion and their westernized language, English and the Bible and Quran. They replaced it with all of that and they took away the African spirituality. So the generations that followed after them, the generations of Africans who followed after them would not know their ancestors understanding of what they understood African spirituality or spirituality to be. Okay, so today we're going to get to know what that is. All right, let's move on. All right, so understanding spirituality, the first, being on the earth, that was ever created is the mitochondrial Eve. You can research that mitochondrial Eve and take a look at, who she was on this face of this planet. It's been scientifically proven that the first beings on the earth was black woman. Okay, let that be known. That's a known fact. The black woman was the first being ever on the face of the planet. That's undeniable. So when she was on the planet, she looked up at the stars and she looked up at the universe and she wondered and she asked herself questions. What is the meaning of life? What am I doing here? How did I get here? Who made me? What happened? All of these questions she pondered. She didn't have, distractions that we have today, like the internet, cell phones, going to work, family, friends, whatever we doing, all our stuff, activities. They didn't have all of these distractions. So they had time in which to study and time in which to, revere the universe and take a look. And Africans did that better than any other human race. Okay, they understood life and where it came from, and they understood rising above their natural animalistic or lower selves in order to obtain a higher self. So they understood as above, so below. These concepts and things of that nature. So these are the things that the Africans and the African spirits had within themselves, understood their connection back with the Creator. Okay? Moving forward. All right. So to understand all of this, what you need to understand is that we are energy, like beings. So the Creator, the Most High, the ultimate being, the supreme being who created all of this, first had to have a conscious thought. Okay? So when that Creator being was aware of itself and became aware of itself, then it was able to create. So it started to create and form, solar systems, universes, planets, suns, stars, all of these things, matter, energy. So energy was being created from thought, which is consciousness, thought. So the Creator, from their consciousness, from the Creator's consciousness, from its consciousness, created energy that then created matter. So it transitions. So transitions, that energy, some call it the spirit. Okay. In religious circles, they call it the spirit. What it really is energy. So from thought creates energy, and then that energy then creates matter, which is physical. Okay. What you see, physical matter, muscles, bones, all of that stuff like that. So you have positive and negative energies. Okay. So moving forward. So once you understand your concept and makeup of who you are as a being, you are energy and you're inhabiting a physical body. So your energetic being on the inside is vibrating at a frequency. Okay. So when it vibrates, when energy vibrates at a frequency, it creates, either subtle frequencies or it creates dense frequencies. Now your dense frequencies will create a physical matter, okay? And your subtle vibration, your vibration of energy will create like, spirits or sounds or anything like that. So you see here on the screen your vibration frequencies from the atoms, the protons, neutrons, electrons surrounded by the nucleus. You have billions of those comprised together to create your physical form. So like I mentioned before, the Creator had conscious thought in which he transferred that into energy, which energy then transferred into matter. So if you don't understand this concept, then you won't understand what African spirituality is going forward. So the thoughts of the Creator became aware of itself, and then having that perception which sparked the creativity, which from thought consciousness created energy, which turned into matter. So your vibrating energy and your frequency of vibration created that particular spirit that's within inside of you, that subtle spirit that's inside of you. Okay. And it also created that physical matter which is inside of you. So we're vibrating beings on various frequency levels. Okay. So you have, let me go back. You have energy that is vibrating at various frequencies. Okay. So for you to be a physical body, your vibration level has to be at a certain frequency, at a dense level, lower dense level, the density of your energy. That creates the form of the physical body. All right. On the inside, your spirit, you have the vibrating frequency at a higher level, which is more subtle and light. So you have the spirit and your consciousness that is connected, interconnected. Your consciousness and your spirit is interconnected consciousness within your body. That energy is vibrating at a high frequency. Okay. So very, very fast, like boom, 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 boom. And that makes a subtle, very slight spiritual being within inside of you, which is connected back to God. Okay. What we understand to be God. All right. So that subtle consciousness and that inner being is connected back with God. So let me see here. Let me go back. Go back to my slides. Okay, so we back. All right, so within that energetic being, within that spirit, within inside of you, that energy, you have a compound physical form of the body, right? So let me see, go back. That compound physical form of the body, which is billions of atoms vibrating at a low frequency to form the physical form and the outward appearance, while on the inside, the vibration of frequencies of energy is high, which makes it more subtle, like a spirit, which is housed in a physical body. When you're born, you go from a thought from your parents, energetic physical being. When they have sex, they're stimulated. So they go from a thought, and that energy transfers down to their, genital regions, their penis for the male and the vagina for the female. It gets aroused. That energy flows down the spine of your parents, which sends an electrical signal down to the spine in order for them to get an erection, to get aroused. You got the masculine and the feminine energy that are created, and it transfers a liquid. Okay. The liquid then is transferred through the body in the form of sperm, and it fertilizes a female egg, and it produces cells of energy, which evolves into physical form, which you have a newborn baby from within the conscious spirit that's inside. So that's the whole physical body and the makeup of the body. Okay. So that's the whole form. You know what I'm saying? So understanding that going forward and how it connects with spirituality is very, very important. Okay. All right. So within that, physical form, you have levels of energy that is on the inside of you. So these vortexes of energy, you have 7 main vortexes of energies that we call chakras. Chakras are energy vortexes, okay? And these chakras are broken down. Your spirit is broken down into 7 parts. So at the base, at the bottom of it, you see the chakra that is on the right side, you'll see is red. And that's your survival chakra. This is pretty much where you ground yourself. This is your foundational base and how you, create your physicality, through the genital region. It's pretty much placed in the genital region. This is energy vortexes that go through your body, these chakras, okay? So your survival starts, from the root base, which is where you ground yourself physically, all right? So how you come back, how you're born into this world comes through the vagina and through the penis, and how you're formed into this world. All right, so you have the root base chakra, all right, and then right above it is the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is the sexual energy vortex where you get stimulation and you get sexuality and sexual urges and sensations to have sex and exert those energies, those sexual energies. So your energetic vortex from that is placed here, and that color is orange. And then right above that, in your sternum area, near your stomach, is your sternum chakra. This is where your power lies, okay? And that color is yellow for that vortex, okay? So this is where you receive your courage and your nerves are established and stuff like that. That's why you get, bubble guts and things of that nature. When you're nervous about something, or you're about to take a test, or you're about to face something that you're not unsure about, you get these urgencies, within your chakra, okay, your power chakra. Then right above that, the green chakra is in your heart area. This is your heart chakra. This is where your feelings come from that are developed. And this is where your will is manifested. How you manifest your will, you're going forward. Your love, is coming through your heart chakra, and that's green, all right? And it manifests something. Your will manifest something into creation, okay? So your heart will manifest. So your heart chakra is very important. Now, right above that, right on the throat in blue, this is your communication chakra, your throat chakra for some people who term it. This is where you express yourself, where you speak things into existence, okay? And you continue to use this chakra where you're going to speak things into existence. And this is where the throat comes into play. A lot of people, use their mouths a lot and talk things out, and they don't really think before they speak. And they just project stuff. This is where you can control that energy from your throat chakra. Okay, the one right above that, right in the middle of the brow, very important. This is the pineal gland. This is the, intuition. This is the seat of your soul. Your intuition, where you get your intuition from, your intellect, your discernment, your guidance, your wisdom. We call it the third eye, okay? And it's in the brain. It's inside of the brain, the pineal gland, which is inside of the brain. And we'll go over that as we continue through this lesson, okay? And then right up top of that, on the crown of your head, is this is the crown chakra, okay? The crown chakra is where you have your spirituality. All right, this is your divine inner self. This is where your God divinity within yourself is housed here. This is where your divinity dwells. Okay, and anything above that, seventh chakra. So these are 7 levels of chakras that you have. And you noticed here on this ground. So these levels of chakra, you go through your energy vortexes will go through from your root chakra at the bottom all the way up to the crown of your head. And this is where you will tap into the divine nature of the universal God. The higher consciousness of God is where you will tap into this, okay? So there are more chakras than 7, okay? So there's like other levels like 8, 9, 10, 11, all the way through, and so on and so forth, okay? So once your inner divinity, you reach your inner divinity, and your kundalini rises through your spine up to your vortexes, up to the top of your crown chakra, you're able to project thoughts, okay, into the universe and receive communication directly from God, because God and man are one, okay, interconnected as one. This is the nature of spirituality, okay? So when your kundalini energy rises up your spine and reaches the crown chakra, you're able to tap into the creator by transferring your thoughts into the universe directly to the creator in order to receive guidance, knowledge, wisdom from the cosmic God to be able to receive, perceive, create, and make decisions. These are the same things. These are the same attributes as God. Okay, God is able to perceive things through his consciousness. Let me say his. All right, God is a spirit, so I'm not going to say his. But God is able to perceive things as well as man is able to perceive things through their thoughts, okay, and the consciousness of their thoughts, which will allow them to create and to manifest things, to make decisions, to come up with, wisdom, and to be able to do things, okay? So meditation is a way to tap into this. Meditation is a perfect way to tap into this. And you see the image here of the brother, the African, who's meditating here, and his chakras are going through, the energy vortexes, and he's able to tap into his higher consciousness and then interconnect directly with the Most High. Okay, so the meditation is a way to tap into this and help your Kundalini energy flow. Now, your chakra energy can be blocked. Okay, it can be blocked by outside negative experiences. You know, a lot of people go through things in life and they deal with a lot of stuff, and this could block your chakras and keep you from tapping into that higher self, the higher divinity of God, the Most High. It blocks you from being able to receive knowledge and receive information, to receive guidance and wisdom. Okay, so when you need to remove negative things out of your life in order to unblock your chakras, you need to be able to move forward and cleanse yourself. You got to cleanse yourself. There's several different ways in which to do that. You can cleanse yourself through, eating right. Stop, using fluoride in your toothpaste. Start, better eating habits, and stop putting people that are negative around you in your circle. Surround yourself with positive energy. You can meditate. You can, seclude yourself into a quiet place and location and meditate. You can, do different things that'll give you a vibe, a different peaceful vibe and a positive energy to allow your chakras to be balanced and continue that energy flow, so you can tap into the higher consciousness and connect with God, okay, with the Most High. All right, so let's move forward. All right, God is love. All right, and the love of God is in everything. All right, and God is in everything all around. Okay, not just in a book. Okay, God is more and greater than just this book. Okay, God can't be trapped inside of just pages only, because God is more powerful than that, greater than that. And the love of God encompasses all. And that is the spirituality, us understanding that God is within us, and which is man, masculine and feminine, okay, male and female, and then we are within God. Okay, so this is the difference between religion and spirituality, where religion will separate God from man and will put God outside of man and place God in the sky, and where you have to die and transition into death in order to see God. Where spirituality is, you're able to connect. There is no inseparate, there's no separate, it's not inseparable. It's inseparable. God and man are connected as one. Okay, so there is no disconnect. Okay, so you see here, let me go back. How do I go back? Okay, so you see that there is a connection with God and man, okay, with spirituality. So you have, the love of God, and there is a oneness of spirituality, and it connects the heart and mind to see that love in themselves, and there's love in all things, in nature, in the universe, in creation, which is human beings and animals and things of that nature. God is divinely connected with all of us, and we are divinely connected back with God. Okay, so there is an interconnection, there's a oneness. Whereas religion, the difference is they'll separate God and put God in the sky, and they'll say God is in heaven and this, that, and the third, and you have to die in order to go see God and all of this stuff like that. Where spirituality connects God and man, male and female, masculine and feminine. Okay, so the divine creator is within one's own self. And you are in God. There is no separation between the two. They are one. Man is one with God, and God is one with man. There is a union that's formed, okay? So God exists within man, and man exists within God. So this is the attributes of God. So let's go back. These are the attributes of God. And understanding that. And so man has the same attributes of God to do the things that God is able to do. Okay? So thoughts, they turn into creation, just like God is able to create. Not saying that we'll do it on the exact same level, but it is an aspect of how we're going to be able to move forward as human beings on this earth, understanding that we have the same capabilities or attributes of God. Okay? And you can see where the Bible plagiarized those concepts and stole it from African spirituality. So when the Greeks and the Romans and the English start writing their Bible and start creating their religion, they stole some concepts and ideas from the ancient Africans, and they put it in the Bible as parables. They didn't give you the complete truth and understanding of this. They put it in parables. So they put bits and pieces inside of the book in order to, mix in lies with the truth and, get people to buy into this religion and to assimilate. Because, they understood if they told people these stories and they told people this stuff, that they would probably hear some things that sounded similar to what they already understood or believed themselves from their tribes or from their ancestors told them. Then they'll be tricked and deceived into believing this stuff, the new religion, and they'll accept it. And so you see right here, biblical plagiarism. It's already talking about this. In Psalms 82:6, it says, I said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. So it also says that you are gods. In John 10:34, it says, Jesus answered them, is it not written in your law, I said, ye are gods? So there's referencing back, from New Testament to Old Testament. And they use topology, the writers of the Bible did use topology, which to make that connection. But they stole these concepts from ancient African spirituality. Then Luke 17:21 says, neither shall they say, lo here or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you. So once again, God and man are one. So you are in the kingdom of God, and God is within you. God is within man, and man is within God. Moving forward. So what is the Ka? The Ka is the ancient Kemetic, speaking of the spirit. This is what the ancient Africans understood the spirit to be. The Ka is the part of the person's soul that is the aspect or the part of the universal soul or spirit that lived on after death. So your Ka, your spirit, your personality, your consciousness, it moves on after death. That energy is being coded in your DNA. Everything that you experience in this life existence is coded in your DNA, and it's entirely inside of your spirit. So the life force, both divine and personal, it symbolizes life, giving energy and universal spirit. So it's growing. This is the real spirit of morality and going forward. And this is what the ancient Africans understood it to be. And this is the name which we attribute it to. And these are the symbols which we use to praise and to show reverence to it, putting our hands up in praise. That's why you see this in churches today. They put their hands up in reverence and praise and things of that nature in churches today. They're copying from ancient African traditions that have been passed down from generations to generations through centuries. And the Greeks and the Romans and the English, they took these concepts from Africa when they went into Kemet and conquered into North Egypt. And they took these concepts and they put it in their Bibles in order to assimilate the people and indoctrinate the Africans and indoctrinate the people, because they figured that if they see something similar, to their traditional customs, then they will accept it. They would accept the religion. They would accept the Bible if they saw some of their concepts inside of this book, So that's how they tricked the Africans into accepting that religion. And Africans are being tricked to this day. Black Americans, African Americans, all over this world, still being tricked by that book. But these concepts have been in existence by our people for centuries. Understanding the pineal gland. And what is the pineal gland? Let me see if my notes here. This is the eye of Ra. All right. The eye of Ra goes back to the sun, and it corresponds with the pineal gland. The pineal gland is inside of the brain. It's the part of the brain that is inside the brain. And this part, the pineal gland, Africans understood the importance of the sun, so they venerated the sun. All right, so they use symbology, symbols in which to venerate the sun, and pay homage to the sun. And the pineal gland, it corresponds with that and helps us to understand how the consciousness, our consciousness, works with and balances with our subconscious. Okay, so from earlier, I told you about how our consciousness is connected with the pineal gland. This is where we get our wisdom, our intuition, our intellect, our discernment. This is where we get our thoughts and, all of these things. So that is the window to our soul. So once the energy vortex is open for the pineal gland, then that allows us to get to the crown chakra, and then we'll be able to interject our thoughts back to the Most High, and then the Most High will receive. It's like a transmitter, sending signals, through your thoughts, and then you're receiving thoughts back from God as you're sending thoughts out to God, and it's back and forth communication. So this is how you, come to create things. This is how you come to make decisions. This is how you come to understand things and, put things into perspective and all of these things, because your pineal gland is activated, and it allows you, to be able to reason and rationalize with your consciousness. This is the difference between human beings and animals. We have a consciousness that is aware, just like God. We're able to perceive things, and then once we're able to perceive things, we're able to create things and understand things and put them into energy in order to transition energy into matter, and we're able to create things physically. Okay, but it all starts from thought, and that's the pineal gland, where you get your thought processes from and through. And you can see the biblical plagiarism underneath there, where it says in Genesis 32:30, it says, "And Jacob called the name of the place Pineal, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved." So right there, you see again the biblical plagiarism. They understood, if they take these concepts from Africans, which they created this Bible. They created this Bible in Alexandria, Egypt, okay, which is in Kemet, which is Egypt. They stole all the concepts on the reliefs. All right, so all of this stuff is copied from ancient Africans and spirituality. So you got to understand what this is, all right, and see it. Okay, on to the next. So how do you know this? Every night when you go to sleep, you dream. Okay, most of us dream, all right? And when you dream, your subconscious and your pineal gland, your third eye takes over, and it projects a glimpse of energetic reality. Okay, so when you go to sleep at night, let's go back. When you go to sleep at night and you have, these fabulous dreams that you have, okay, you all these different things that you're creating. Either you're doing it yourself in the dream, or you are witnessing what's happening in the dream. Most dreams are happening like that. Sometimes, you go through these different things where you're able to fly, you're able to jump far distances, or you have super strong strength, or, you may have a nightmare or something to that effect, or when you're running from something, or you're afraid, or different things that that happens to you in your dream. This is your energy that is taking over. Okay, this is your true inner being. Okay, you got to understand that you're an energetic being in housing or inhabiting a physical body. This physical body will die one day. It will get weak, and it will not be able to carry on. But your energy will continue. Your energy will keep going. Your energy will transition. Okay, so when you go to sleep at night, you're practicing what's going to happen to you once you transition out of this body. Every night you practice death. Okay, your energy is being projected into your mind. Your subconscious and your pineal gland are reacting or interacting with one another, and those conscious and subconscious thoughts are going into your true self, your true nature, your energetic being. Okay, and you're able to project yourself into these dreams, but you're physically asleep in the bed. Okay, your physical body is asleep in the bed, but your spirit is moving around. and it's able to create these things, and you have all of these energies that's going back and forth. So that's what dreams are. So these things the ancient Africans understood, and they tapped into these, subconscious and pineal glands and how it all interact, with the spiritual body. Okay, so when you're asleep, your pineal gland and your subconscious takes over, and you get a glimpse of energetic reality. Okay. Meditation. Let's go back into my notes. So, like before, when we were talking, there is a oneness of God and creation. Okay. There is a oneness of the God consciousness and your inner divine self. Your divine self is connected one with God. Okay, you and God are one, as connected, interconnected. Okay, so when you tap into this power, when you tap into it, one part or one way in which you can do that is through meditation. And when you have this meditation, your kundalini is rising up your spine, and you're interconnecting with everything around you, nature. Okay, the universe. We're all interconnected with one. Animals. The God is connected, and the spirit of God, the energy of God is all in throughout everything. Okay, all in throughout everything. The universe, the nature, the trees, the stars, the sun, and the moon, and everything of that nature is all interconnected. So when you have this spirituality, when you have this understanding of spirituality, you're able to connect. So when you meditate, this is a way in which you can do it. Your kundalini energy rises up your spine, and it reaches your crown chakra, where you're able to tap into that creator by transferring your thoughts into the universe directly to the creator in order to receive guidance, knowledge, wisdom from the cosmic God, and to be able to perceive things so that you'll be able to create, so that you'll be able to make decisions, and you'll maybe be able to, understand things better. So this is what meditation helps to do. When you're flowing, your chakras and everything is balanced, and your energies, vortexes are open, and your vortexes are flowing through your body, you're able to interconnect spiritually. Okay. And this I believe is what that they didn't want us to know. This is what they wanted to take from us as Africans. This is what they are afraid of, the powers that be. Those who are in government powers, they're afraid of us tapping into our higher selves, because they understood that we had a greater power. How were we able to create the Sphinx? How were we able to create the Great Pyramids in Egypt? How were we able to create agriculture and language, and come up with mathematics? And how were we able to come up with the solar calendar? How were we able to come up as African people, understand astrology and the solar system? How were we able to do that? It was through spirituality that we understood. Okay, this is through spirituality which we understood as a people, African people. We understood that we could connect through our pineal glands and be able to touch and tap into our God consciousness. And God then gave us the information that we needed in order to create. And we were able to perceive. So our inner God, our inner divinity, we're able to do the same things that God is able to do. That's why the Bible said, when Jesus said, well, you will be able to do greater things than I will be able to do. He was telling his disciples that. And they was like, well, how is that possible? You're Jesus, this, that, and the third. But again, the biblical stories will give you parables, and they'll tell you certain things that about African spirituality that our people understood. And this is the reason why they gave us religion. This is the reason why they gave us this Bible. They gave us this Bible to dumb us down. They gave us this Bible to keep us under suppression, so we would not remember who we were. We would not remember our capabilities, that we would not remember what our ancestors gave us. But guess what? All of that is tapped into your DNA structure. All of that is in your DNA. So from mitochondria Eve and her mitochondrial DNA, everyone after her that was born melanated, was able to tap into these experiences that she had from there on out. Okay, so it went from generation to generation to generation, and it's coded inside of your DNA. So all of that knowledge and all of that wisdom and all of that understanding is coded because we're connected, cosmically connected with God. But we have to do things and understand things in order for us to tap into that power, that consciousness. You know what I'm saying? We have to tap into that energy in order for us to understand it. All right. We can't just keep, doing the things of religion, and expecting to get a result. It hasn't been working for so many years, and it's a reason why it's not working. So for us to come back to African spirituality and understand who we are and what our ancestors understood and they taught to their children, we have to come to a knowledge and understanding of who we are. Okay, let's go back. Let's move forward. All right, so here we are with voodoo. African spirituality versus voodoo. Voodoo is something similar. It's something like, it taps into spirituality. It evolved out of spirituality. Voodoo was a ritualistic practice. Voodoo is not spooky. It's not magic or black magic. It's not evil or wicked. What it is channeling energies. Let me get to my notes so I won't miss anything. Here we go. So it's channeling these energies, these vibrations. And as I mentioned before, we are nothing more than vibrations of energy and frequency. We're vibrating on a certain frequency level. Okay. Your body, you have an energetic being inside of you. You're housed in a physical body. Okay. But your true self is your energetic being that's inside of you. Okay. So voodoo, what voodoo does, it just, the vibrations, the energies and the frequencies, all those rituals that they conduct is used to manipulate natural energies and sounds, okay, in order to resonate to a certain vibration and frequency in order to obtain right levels to get to appeal to a feeling or an emotional response. Okay. So this is all voodoo is. It's just used to create an importance or deep sense of meaning for an individual who channels this energy, vibration, and frequency. Okay. So if you're channeling energies and you're channeling vibrations and you're using these spells in which to conjure up these, energies and things of that nature. If you see here, you have the Orishias. The Orishias are from Yoruba, the Yoruba tribe that came out of Nigeria. Okay, Nigeria in Africa. These Orishas or Loas, as they are termed, Loas, are nothing more than, energy aspects of energy. They're not true characters. They're not real people. Like the Bible try to make it seem like, Jesus was a real character that walked the earth. These Orishas and Loas are nothing more than energy vortexes, something just like the chakras, and when the voodoo priest or voodoo, whoever practices voodoo, what they're doing is channeling those spirits of the Ka. They're channeling the spirits of the Ka, the ancestors, in order to appeal, to and make feelings, emotional response and resonate with those particular energies. So they can go forward and, act accordingly. If you have some positive ancestors, you want to, try to, invoke, some of their energies and vibrations, then voodoo was a way in which they would do that. The Africans would invoke those energies and they would take those frequencies and things of that nature and channel it. It's no different than hip hop music, channeling the energies of hip hop, artists and things of that nature. So it's kind of the same thing. You're vibrating on a frequency, you know what I'm saying? And when you go through hip hop, you rap music and things of that nature, they're using music in which to vibrate on a frequency of energy. Okay. You had 2 Chainz. He had a song called It's a Vibe. You know what I'm saying? He's vibrating on that energy. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. You know what I'm saying? So he understands that. these rappers, they understand is nothing more than energy. If you listen to, Kanye, he was just talking about the energies and stuff that you get from the crowd, the vibration. This is what they're understanding. They're channeling these energies, no different than voodoo. Okay? Voodoo is not spooky, it's not evil, it's not wicked. Voodoo gets a bad rap because, the Western culture, the white European culture wants to try to get you to forget how to use this power. Okay? So this stuff is very powerful. You got to understand, your African spirituality is very powerful. And for us, we have to remember how to use it. We have to remember how to tap into this power in order to use this energy, in order to resonate with our feelings, our emotions, and help to guide us to be able to connect us back spiritually with God. Everything in nature, everything within the universe is interconnected. We are one with God. We are one. We're not separate from God like religion teaches you. We are connected, interconnected with God. So we're one beings, okay? We're all reflected in everything. The trees give off oxygen. The sun, it gives off, the rays in which to cause precipitation, and the clouds will make rain. And then the plants and the fruits and the vegetation and all of that will grow. So we're all interconnected. We're breathing oxygen back and forth with one another. So we're bringing this oxygen back in and breathing it back out. So we're all interconnected in one, and we are connected through God. So with the voodoo aspect of it, they understand the levels of energy and frequencies that we're vibrating on. And that's all they're trying to do. Invoke, those spiritual connections with the ancestors, with energies, in order to resonate, so it will, bring off a certain vibration, a feeling or emotion to, get you going and moving in the right direction. And sometimes voodoo could be used for a wrong direction, but they don't like to do that, because it comes back on them. All right. It's like karma. Karma will come back on you, and karma is something you don't want. Okay. That's very bad. All right. You don't want no karma. So when you put out negativity, that comes back on you. So what our African spirituality understood in Mayat is that we have to put forth positivity, positive energy, positive vibes, so that can return to us positively. Okay. So let's see. Move forward. Let's go. Hopefully this is not long. Where are we? Okay, it's not too long. Move forward. Okay. All right, so what our ancient African ancestors understood, what they were teaching in Kemetic sciences and universities, they were teaching that, there's a oneness with God and with the consciousness of God. So e pluribus unum, e pluribus unum was trying to tell you, from many came one. Out of many, there's one. Okay. So in this essence, you see on the right, Ptah. Ptah is the creator God. Okay. And this is a myth. This is mythology. This is ancient Egyptian mythology. Okay. This is what our ancient African ancestors, these guys right here, these Kemetic ancient African ancestors, they understood this to be. So what they did was they put these figures, okay, in place to be able to explain creation, in order to explain, what life was about. So these are just aspects of reality, aspects of nature, aspects of, human physical forms, okay, and things of that nature. So you see Ptah with the consciousness coming from his pineal gland, all right, and creating, from the pineal gland, you see the ray of light, creating and emanating and creating these, other beings and these divine principles, that you see. So these are the Netarus, all right? And all they did was just show you aspects of nature, showed you aspects of, human beings and characteristics and things of that nature. Let me see if I got my notes, if I don't miss anything. Okay, here we go. So the aspects of nature, reality, and the human body are made up of these characters, and they're used to explain to the little babies, the African babies in generations to come, how they are important to us and how they function in nature and in the workings of universal function of life. Okay? So we all correspond with the function of the universe as one complete aspect of God's consciousness. All right? Everything is interconnected with God's consciousness. Now, religion calls this the spirit of God. Okay? This is what religion did. They took it and they twisted it and they called this the spirit of God. But we, as African people, we didn't give it a title. We just understood what it is. Okay? Let me get some water. Hang on a second, family. I see y'all out there. What's up, Chuck? What's up, Dex? What's up, Skip? What's going on, fellas? Bernard, what's happening, baby? I see y'all out there. What's happening? Maarifa is here. We just teaching. You dig? Okay, so check it. All right, we back on it. So this is what the ancient African Egyptians did, okay? Moving forward. So they created the Netarus. Okay, the Netarus are nothing more, like I said, the aspects of nature and reality and the human body. Okay, so you see at the top, you have Aten. Aten is reflective of the sun. Okay, is representation of the sun. You see Nut. Nut is a representation of the universe. And underneath there, they called it Osiris, but African Egyptians named the name for Osiris is Asar. Okay, the Greeks changed his name to Osiris, and the Greeks changed Aset's name to Isis. Okay, so you see Isis there. She's part of intellect and wisdom. Okay, Hathor, Amun, Horus, Ra, Hamarket. You know, Capri. Capri is pretty much the dung beetle. The dung beetle represents the sun and also reincarnation, which we'll discuss a little bit later. The dung beetle, you know, which brings and regenerates life. Okay, so these different aspects, you know, that the Netarus or the ancient Africans used, they pretty much created these characters, almost like comic book characters, like the X-Men. You know how the X-Men have powers, superpowers, and things of that nature, and how they respond and connect, you know, with their powers and how they use to their abilities and stuff like that in order to, you know, help the people and help the world and stuff like that. It's the same concept here with the ancient African Egyptians. You know, these Netarus that the Africans created, and they put these on the walls in Kemet in Egypt, on the stone, you know, on the stone walls, in order to teach the children the importance of nature and how it all interconnects, the importance of, you know, reality and the human body and how it all interconnects. Okay, these symbols, all these African symbols and symbology, you know, you see Geb at the bottom, that represents earth. Okay, so it's different things like Thoth, you know, Seth, and you know, Thoth was like the intellect, you know, he was the wisdom, you know what I'm saying? He was writing things down, you know, writing guidance down and stuff like that. Anubis with the dog head. You see Anubis there was, you know, used to guide, you know, you through the afterlife. You know what I'm saying? So these different Netarus had different aspects of reality and aspects of nature and aspect of human physicality to be able to better explain to you. You know what I'm saying? So if you see right here with Horus rather, the falcon head of Horus on the man's body, that's anthropomorphized. Okay, that's characters that are anthropomorphized. It shows you that it's representing the sun. So the sun is Horus is Osiris's son, and he is the reincarnation of Osiris. You know, which is Asar. The African name for Osiris is Asar. Okay, so Horus is the reincarnation of Asar, and he represents the sun, as does Asar. Okay, and then Asar also represents the Jed, which is reincarnation. You know what I'm saying? The spine, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Okay, so moving forward. So these ancient African symbols, like I mentioned before, the Netarus, they had majority of these ancient African symbols which connect you back to reality and connects you back to the human body. As you can see right here on the ancient Egyptian pharaoh headdress that I have on this table, you know, Ydjet and Nekbet. Okay, so Ydjet and Nekbet, they represented, you know, the pineal gland and the bird brain, the part of the brain, which is the lower part of the brain. So these are representations. And then you see on the display, the back of the tail, the serpentine power that goes down the spine, the back of the spine, which transfers energy. Okay. When your thought processes, it starts in the brain with Jet starts in the brain, and then that brain thought sends energy signals down your spine, down your Jed, which is represented by Asar or Osiris. Okay, they called him Osiris. The Greeks renamed him. All right, so these are just characters, and they're showing you aspects of nature. They're showing you aspects of the human body and reality. And this is what the ancient Africans did. Okay, the symbol of the Ankh in the upper left corner, that's the symbol of the womb, the woman's womb, which brings life. That's how children are born into this world. So symbology and ancient African symbolism was throughout Egypt. Okay, and you see the Eye of Horus. You see the Ka with the hands up. You know what I'm saying? And the Eye of Horus or Jet. You see the scarab beetle. That's Capri. Capri pretty much represented reincarnation of life and the sun, because they flew. Beetles, they fly, during the high noon when the sun is high. So all of these things, the ancient Africans, they observed these things. Okay, the ancient Africans observed all of nature. All right, so they had a lot of time on their hands to make these observations. They wasn't distracted like we are today. They wasn't distracted with religion. They wasn't distracted with having to go to church on Sunday or having to go to work on Monday. They wasn't distracted with bills or cell phones. They wasn't distracted with TV and all of that stuff. So they had time in which to observe life, which to ponder life, to figure out what life was about and how we all interconnect with God. They had time to connect with God and to make this connection spiritually, with God, and to cultivate that. Okay, so they cultivated their practices and their beliefs, and they wrote them on the walls. They inscribed them in stone so that no one could change them. And it was that important that they put them in stone on the walls. Okay, on the walls and the reliefs. They put them on the walls so that you can see. Okay, so when I go to Egypt this year, this summer, I'm going very soon. When I go to Egypt, I'm going to show you all of the reliefs and everything that the ancient African ancestors, ancient African ancestors inscribed on the wall to tell us about how we're interconnected with God, how we are one with God. There's one. We are a oneness. Your inner divine being, your inner divine self is connected back with the Creator. And the Creator is a reflection, as you are a reflection of everything that's around you in the universe, in the earth, in the planet. Everything is a reflection and an aspect of one another. And our ancient African ancestors understood this. And this is what they were trying to convey, the message they were trying to convey in the hieroglyphs, in the symbology, in everything that they did. So everything has a meaning. You know what I'm saying? So everything has a meaning. Like the, Jet and that, the brain and the eye, the pineal gland, the thought consciousness and how it all interacts. So everything is symbology. Okay. It's all mythological, just like Jesus is a myth. All of these things are mythological. Anything that man has created is of their own thinking and understanding. So what they try to do is convey that message. Okay. So what religion did, they try to make it seem like it was real when in reality is not. Okay, these concepts are the same way. They're mythological concepts, aspects used in which to teach and understand, teach the next generation so they understand how we all interconnected, how we're all encompassed with God and the energy of God, and we're all vibrating on that frequency level. Okay, that's all ancient spirituality was and all ancient spirituality is. And they don't want us to know this. They don't want us to get to this point, okay, because they know what that power is. They know about the power of energy and how you can use energy vibrations in order to manipulate people, to get them to do things and to act a certain way. Just like hip hop music, that's the way they vibrate, in order to channel those energies and vibrate at a certain level. in order to change and resonate you to a certain feeling or emotion, in order to get you to feel a certain way and act a certain way and to behave a certain way. Okay, so energy is very powerful because we're all energetic spirit beings on the inside. That's why we get in church and we get so emotional. We get, we hear the songs and the music playing and we get so caught up in emotion. And when you go to church and then the preacher start preaching, people go to sleep. Or they be bobbing and weaving and trying, they barely can stay woke. You know what I'm saying? While the preacher's preaching, but when the song is on, they like, you know what I'm saying? When the song is playing, they spiritual. You know what I'm saying? They praising and all that. And then preacher start preaching, everybody go to sleep again. You know what I'm saying? So they sleepy and tired, or they distracted on their phone and all this stuff in church. You can watch the people in church do this. And then the preacher has to start hooping. I know I've been changed. He got to start doing all of that in order to get the people revived again. When they start hearing those tones, he's saying, those are tones, those are sounds that are impacting your energy levels and vibrating, okay? That gets people excited. That gets people up and energetic. Go in church. If you go to church, watch it, okay? Watch everybody. Observe everything going on. You can see this, okay? When people go to church, they'll do the same thing. They'll go in church, hear the choir sing, they'll be all fired up. Yeah, and then when the pastor start preaching, everything dies down. It's like, and then people be looking, you get a few amens here and there. That's why the preacher keep asking for y'all to say amen, because he wants y'all to be involved. But then when he start hooping again, those tones is coming back. Now your energy level, you're vibrating again. Your inner spirit is connecting again. Okay, so very important. Energy, spirituality, understanding what that is. Okay, so moving forward. All right, so our ancient African ancestors, they had, they pretty much put symbology in place in order to explain, what their interconnection role is with the earth. These are aspects of nature, aspects of reality, aspects of the human body, and that's all they are. They're symbols, okay? So there's mythological symbols in African spirituality, mythological symbols, which to teach the next generation, how we're all interconnected and what roles they're playing, okay, with life and how we all evolve from that, okay? That's all it is. Nothing spooky or scary about it. All right, so knowing ourselves. The ancient Africans had proverbs themselves, okay? So the kingdom of heaven is within you, and whosoever shall know himself shall find it, okay? So these are ancient African proverbs. Man, know thyself. We had to know ourselves. You had to come to know yourself. Spirituality calls for the individual to rise above their lower self, okay? So there's an upper and higher self, where you are spiritually connected, where you project love and compassion to your fellow human being. And then there's a lower self that you have selfish ambitions and materialism and greed and anger and hatred. We all have this duality within us, okay? There's a duality within our nature, in our energies. Religion tried to call it, the devil. Our lower selves, religion tried to call that the devil. And then our upper selves, they tried to call it God. Okay? But ancient Africans understood it. They understood the concepts completely. Our ancient ancestors understood it. That's why they said we need to know ourselves in order to be able to free ourselves from our lower nature, in order to connect spiritually to the higher nature of God and come to that, rise to that level. That's what the whole Great Sphinx is about. The Great Sphinx is showing you rising above your animalistic nature. Animals have a very predatorial nature, and they also have a calming presence. But their predatorial nature sometimes controls them, and they'll go out and kill and attack. but they do it for purposes of food. They go to, you know, they predatorial so they can survive, pretty much. So for us as human beings, we have a higher intellect. We have a higher consciousness. So we are to rise above that. The Great Sphinx is telling you that. Rise above your animalistic nature. Rise above your lower self. So when you rise above your lower self into a higher existence, you're refining yourself. You know, you're removing negativity from your life and holding on to those things which work, you know, like the Great Sphinx is telling you. So let's see, let me move forward with my notes. Hang on a second. Okay, so when you recognize your higher self, you see the oneness in all things. Spirituality trains the heart and the mind to see. The heart and the mind, it trains it. Spirituality trains it to see the oneness of self. You see divine creation, the divine creator within yourself. And then you then are God. Okay, so that's when you hear people saying that we are gods. And the Bible even said it, you know, that you are gods yourself. You know what I'm saying? Psalms 82:6, I read it to you. Did it say that ye are gods? You know what I'm saying? Know not that ye are gods. Psalms 82:6, I read it to you earlier. It's the same thing. Okay, so man and spirituality is one, and God exists within man, and man within God. The two are inseparable. So we know this. African spirituality, we knew this. We paid homage to the spirit in all things that was around us. You know, we paid homage to, you know, nature and the universe and to stars and spirits. And, you know, we had plentiful in Africa. We had all the resources were given to us, everything. So when the conquerors, the barbaric conquerors came in, the Greeks, the Romans, their resources were very scarce. You know, and they came in and they was just trying to kill and destroy and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? And they called that, you know, the devil. You know, so but we understood that it was different. You know, we had a different understanding of life. So looking within yourself to find your God divine nature. This is spirituality. Looking within oneself. You have to refine yourself in order to find the answers. Then the true living, to find the real reality of yourself. This is the beginning of self-discovery. You know, this is the beginning of true spirituality. All right. So knowing who you are as an individual, knowing your creative source within you, knowing that you are a reflection of creation. Okay. And everything all around you in nature and the universe, knowing who you are before you even got to this planet. Okay. It's trapped in your DNA structure. It's tapped deep down inside, and you can use meditation in order to tap into that higher consciousness of God. You can use meditation to tap into that and come to know who you are in this universe because it's encoded in your DNA. Okay, your energy vortexes are transferred. Your energy transfers. It doesn't die. All right. So you getting to know who you are before you even got here, while you're here on this planet, what you're meant to do, what your purpose is here on this earth is all encoded in you. So this is getting to know your higher self. This is getting to know yourself. Okay. And you're doing this spiritually, getting to know. This is through refinement. Okay. You're refining yourself as you maneuver this physical realm. And you elevate yourself spiritually in order to ascend and transcend beyond this realm once your energy transitions. Okay? So let's move forward. All right, so here we are. The ancient Africans understood death. Okay? And what they were trying to teach and what they were trying to let you understand is how to transition this energy beyond this physical realm once your energy leaves the physical body. Okay, the physical body is not meant to move forward. It's going to decay. It's going to decrease, and it's going to get weaker as the older you get. We all understand this. This is called life. Okay, death is a part of life. Death will happen for all of us. We will all. This body will leave. Our energy will leave this body. Okay. And the ancient African ancestors were trying to teach, you know, spiritually teach how to keep moving in existence. Okay, so they were transitioning so your energy can transition to the next life or your next reality or the next physical realm, so that you won't have to reincarnate and come back to this earth. Okay, you won't have to reincarnate and come back. The ancient Africans understood this, that you will transition. Your energy on the inside, your spirit does not die. Your physical body will die, and you will leave that physical body when it's no longer able to hold your energy. When this physical body, this matter that was created, is no longer able to hold your energy, you will transition. That's why we don't know what day we're going to die. Everyone has a start date, and then there's a dash in between on your headstone and your tombstone, and then there's a date that you're going to die. No one knows what that date is. Okay, so what you have to do is your energy is going to transition. All right, no one knows when your body is going to break down. No one knows when you're going to do something crazy, like, risky, or jumping out of a plane, or bungee jumping, or doing something stupid, a car crash. No one knows when that's going to occur. Okay, so if your physical body is no longer able to keep your energy will transition. That means your ka, spirit, what the ancient Africans understood, will transition into the next life. Okay, the next reality, your next existence, or it will come back here through reincarnation on earth. That's why Tupac said, all the time, my only fear of death is coming back reincarnated. I never understood what he was talking about when he was saying that back then. It didn't dawn on me that he was talking about an ancient African spirituality. Okay, Tupac was, learned in this. His mother, Afeni, taught him about African spirituality and African history. So he understood his people. He understood himself, before he got caught up in all the materialism and his lower thinking, his lower self. He got caught up in his lower self, and then he ultimately died, and his spirit transitioned and moved on. But this is what the ancient Africans understood. So the death and transition, you see on the top left, the papyrus of Annie, and how Annie in the Book of the Dead, if you buy the Book of the Dead, you'll see this papyrus of Annie. These are on the coffin text in Egypt. These reliefs. This is a picture of the relief that's on the coffin text in ancient Egypt, which is in Kemet. Okay, Kemet, ancient Egypt, same thing. All right, so Annie is going through, and he's having his heart weighed on, the balancing scales by Anubis against a feather. And then you see Thoth is writing down the history of everything that's going on. And then the Metal Nectar gods are above him, taking a look at the whole process. And he's going through death. All right. And he's going through the process. And this is what the Bible plagiarized again with Psalms 23. They repeat Psalms 23 in church all the time. And, it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You see death on the left side. I will fear no evil. He's not afraid. For thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. So again, biblical plagiarism of ancient African traditions, that they already understood these aspects. You see, the rod and the staff, that, King Tut is holding. The mummy, that they, holding right there, the transition that they have of the afterlife and death. So they took that from ancient African Kemet and wrote it in that Bible, you know what I'm saying? And preachers preach on it all the time. You know what I'm saying? They say these things at funerals and all of this stuff like that. They recite Psalms 23 at funerals all the time. So again, biblical plagiarism, mixing in African, Egyptian, Kemetic philosophies and understanding of African spirituality. All right. And all it was transcending rather to the next level of existence, your energy, your spirit transitioning. All right. Which all comes down to this: reincarnation. Okay. So again, you see the process in which you're coming back to this earth. And let's see if we make sure I stay on my notes so I don't miss anything. So in this life, there's energy, like you said, it resides in you. And if you haven't reached a spiritual level, if you haven't achieved a spiritual level, you will keep reincarnating back to earth, until you figure out your spirituality and you're able to reach your spiritual capacity to reach the level you need to transcend to the next physical realm of existence. That's just what they understood it to be. Your purpose here on life is to conquer this physical realm and to be able to move forward to the next level. It's almost like, let's see, hold on a second. I'm gonna go to it. Let me talk about it real quick. I like to liken this to a video game. And a lot of us played video games growing up. You couldn't really get past, the next level on Mario Brothers. You kept getting, squashed by that little mushroom, or, on Donkey Kong, you got hit with a barrel or something like that, and you're not able to reach the next level. So you have another life. It comes back and you have another Mario life, and you start the process all over again, and you keep trying to go, to the next level till you reach the Donkey Kong at the top, and then you fight the Donkey Kong. The first time you get killed, then you come back and you got another life. You know what I'm saying? You keep putting quarters in there. Why do you think they make these things? You know what I'm saying? They created these things out of concepts and ideas from the ancient Africans. Okay, this concept of reincarnation has been on the earth for centuries. All right. Why do you think they keep reincarnating things and they keep putting things in your face, like video games, like movies, to remind you of these things, but you have no clue what it is. You have no clue what it is, and it's right in front of your face the whole time. You play video games, and in order for you to get to the next level of existence, you have to conquer that level in order to go to the next level in the video game. Okay, that's what I like to liken it to. That's the only way I can understand it or make sense of it. Reincarnation. Tupac said it again. Like I said, Tupac said, the only fear of death he has was coming back reincarnated. That's his only mental. He didn't want to come back here to earth because he understood reincarnation. He understood what the ancient Africans understood spiritually about energy transferring and transitioning. You know what I'm saying? Energy never dies. Your spirit never dies. Your spirit moves on. It's either going to go to the next level of existence or it's going to come back here. All right? There is no heaven that is going to go to. There is no hell. You're not going to burn in no hell. This book preaches about a hell and a heaven, but no one can prove it ever exists. No one has ever died and came back, out of the grave and said, yeah, there's a heaven, y'all. Y'all better be getting yourself together. No, you got to know Jesus to get there. Or nobody never came back and said, there's a hell. You got to be scared of this place. No one ever came out of the grave and told you that. No one has ever seen with their own two eyes, these two eyes, a heaven or a hell. The only place you ever get a concept of a heaven or a hell is in this book. The only place. Okay? So your spirit, ancient Africans understood that your spirit is energy. They understood that we are energetic beings and your energy will transition. They understood how you came into this world through a thought from your father and mother having sex. The energy from a thought flowed down the spine of your father and caused him to have an erection. And the energy from the thought of your mother caused her vagina to get wet. And those two energies came together, okay? Those energies came together in order to have sex and then created a baby, okay? A baby was developed from the egg being fertilized, the sperm fertilized the egg, and then 9 months later, a baby came through the mother's womb. That's why each one of us has an umbilical cord, okay? So let me show you something. Reincarnation. Hold on a second. Let me show you this. Go back. Let's go to my desktop real quick. The world birth and death rates. All right, this is the 2011 estimated, okay? The birth rate is on the left. The death rate is on the right. All right, so as you can see here, the many numbers of death as opposed to number of birth rates within a year, okay? So the birth rates are almost twice as much as the death rate. So people are dying, at let's see, There are nearly 2 people die each second every day. You know, and at the same time, there's 4 births that happen at the same time that there are 2 people that have died. Okay, so here you have, 8 deaths per 1,000 population, as opposed to 19 births. Okay, so 55.3 million people die each year, as opposed to 131.4 million births per year. So it's twice as much births being born for the year as opposed to death happening. So energy is being, transferred, and people are dying. Okay, but then at the same time, you have these births that are coming in as twice as much. Okay, so what is that relation? I mean, is there a coincidence? Okay, that you have twice as many births coming back to this earth as opposed to deaths? So what does that tell you? That tells you that those spirits, those energies, they have to come back. Those energies have to come back. And this is what the ancient Africans understood. Those energies coming back. They understood this to life. Okay, so here you see the biblical plagiarism, once again, of this process. All right. It says in John 14:6, Jesus said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. Again, you see in the papyrus of Annie, there's Horus presenting, Annie to his father, Osar, which the Greeks called Osiris. And Osiris is represented with the Jed pillar right here that you see right next to the Ankh. The Ankh is representation of the woman's womb, which you see off to the right. This is a representation of the woman's womb. The vagina is there, the uterus, the fallopian tubes. This Ankh represents life and how you are born. If you see down at the bottom here, this is the reliefs from the ancient Africans. The bottom right, you'll notice the Jed pillar, the Jed, which is Osiris. This is your spine, and that's how energy is conducted. You see up to the top right, the spine next to the Jed. This is how energy is conducted, and energy sends signals out to your body, to your organs, in order to make them move. That energy makes your organs move, okay, from a thought. So you get, sexual erections and, sexual stimulation through your energy vortexes, going through your spine and sending those signals down your spine to the organs. And this is how life occurs. And this is what ancient Africans understood. Okay, so again, biblical, plagiarism, where they stole it and said, in John 3:3, Jesus answered, and he was talking to Nicodemus. He answered and said unto him, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Okay, the kingdom of God is the woman's womb. The kingdom of God is the woman's womb. And this is how you come back reincarnated. Look at these babies' faces. Look at these babies' faces. They mad. They surprised because they're back. They didn't want to come back. Look at their faces. They're back. They reincarnated. So the whole process of your energy moving on, moving forward, they came back to this world. And this is what our ancient Africans understood. Okay? They understood this process. So for us as Africans, we need to reconnect with our African spirituality. We need to, get beyond the religion, and move out of that. Religion is used to stifle your mental and to keep you suppressed and keep control of you. That's why it was created. And they stole the concepts, the ancient African concepts, and they placed them in the book, in parables. They place a little bit here and there, a few verses in parables here and there. They wouldn't give you the complete truth and understanding, because once they did, they lost all power. All right. So African spirituality, our ancient ancestors, our African ancient ancestors understood this life process. They understood our connection, our inner divine connection with the Creator, with the Most High. with the Most High Creator, the consciousness of God, the higher consciousness of God, rising to our higher consciousness. They understood this process, and they understood how energy, we are energetic beings inhabiting a physical body. They understood this. They understood our spirits, the Ka. They understood all of this, and they put it in character, cartoon or comic book character forms, however you want to call it, in order to teach the children, the next generations, how it all interconnects, how we're all interconnected spiritually with nature, the sun, the moon, the stars, the air in which we breathe, the universe, the earth, all interconnected one with another, animals. You understand what I'm saying? And everything. So Africans, we always had a spiritual nature. We always were peaceful and loving. We always were helpful and inviting. That's why we're so forgiving. When people do us wrong, we forgive so quickly. When people do something bad to us or evil and wicked, we forgive them. We even go to them and try to, understand why they're this way. You know what I'm saying? But on the other side, you got some white Europeans who are just evil and wicked. You know what I'm saying? And they just killing and destroying and destroying the nature, and they're poaching the animals, and they're trying to wipe out and genocide. You saw Prince William from England. He's talking about committing genocide on Africans, saying that we were overpopulating Africa. He's coming from England and he wants to depopulate Africa. Why does he want to kill off African humans? Because he understands that we have a power, and they don't want us to know this power. They don't want us to reconnect with this spirituality because we have abilities that are far greater, and they don't want us to do that. Okay? They want to keep us dumbed down in religion. They want us to keep us stupid and fighting each other. Why do you think there's no peace in religion? Why do you think there's always conflict and drama in the church? Why are there always conflict and atrocities with Islam? You know what I'm saying? Why are there's always, you got some good things that happen with some people who trying to practice it, peacefully. I ain't gonna say all of them, but there's a large majority. There is a large majority, and I'm pretty sure you have experienced this too. If you went into religion, you've experienced some of these. The large majority of people do not behave the way loving and caring and all of that stuff like that, like they put in the book. They don't act that way. They act totally opposite of that. Okay? They're hypocritical in their ways. They want to do other things, but that's just off on another tangent. But like I said, the African spirituality, I just wanted to teach you this and show you, what we understood as African people, and how we interconnected with God spiritually. God is within us. We are within God. We are one with God. It's inseparable. Not like religion. Religion teaches you that God is in the sky, in heaven, separate from man, and you have to die in order to see God and this, that, and the third. Well, spirituality, African spirituality knows that you're already connected with God. There is no disconnect with God. There is an interconnection. Okay? So just want to teach you guys that. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you enjoyed this message. Hopefully you got something out of it. Maybe you can, teach your kids or something like that, or share a video, or however you want to do it. It's up to you. But I wanted to put that out there and, give this lecture an understanding. Like I said before, the truth is out there. If you seek it, you'll find. You know what I'm saying? And once you find it, you read it, you'll free your mind from the matrix. Okay? Once you free your mind, you'll become free. So until next time, I'll say love and light. Peace.